Rapid Response Team Alpha, Security Chief Blanchard. How copy? I've barricaded the command center. Got a little dinged up, but I'll live. See if there's anyone left to save. Body cam's live. I'll keep eyes on. Eyes up, team.
So yeah, I decided to take a break from camo grinding and thought, what better way to do that than with a challenge run. That made me almost stop playing this game. And if you somehow couldn't tell, this is a knife only run of the main quest for Liberty Falls. Now wait, what are the rules I have for this run? And I made it as hard as possible. Rule 1, melee only. That means no tacticals, no lethals, no field upgrades for any reason. I also can't get any kills with the trap, which will come in at a later part of the main quest. This is a pure melee run. Number 2, only one perk is allowed, and that's Melee Macchiato. If you didn't know, Melee Macchiato actually doesn't just give you a useless punch. It actually buffs your overall melee damage, and will make use of these 2 augments to help us further in this run. And with that, let's continue the run. For the first few rounds here, I'm going to stay in spawn with the Rampage Inducer to save a little time while I gather points. The base knife is a 1-shot up till round 4, where it's then a 2-shot for the next couple of rounds. At round 5, I'm going to make my way up to the bowling alley, getting the free 100 from the perk machine. I also found out that you can actually get the free points from the pool table Easter egg from knifing at this spot here. The next priority after Vermin round is to get Melee Macchiato, as it will make our knife a 1-shot for a lot longer without having to upgrade it. At round 6, we finally get our one and only perk for this run and spend some time gathering more points here. We're also spending time in the cemetery to start gathering the parts for the jet gun, as we unfortunately have to use it for the Easter egg since the knife can't suck. Towards the end of round 6, the Gravekeeper zombie spawns in. He's a unique zombie that drops the tool shed keys, which we can use over here to open the shed and get the first part for the jet gun, being the handbrake. Round 7 and 8 were just point gathering, and we got lucky these 2 rounds, getting back-to-back double points here. At round 9, I decided it was time to turn off the Rampage Inducer and do the valve step. The valve step is the next part needed to build the jet gun. To do this, I opened up the bank, ran through to the next street, and picked up this water valve outside the flower shop. When we take this back to the bowling alley, we can put it in this box here and start the water pressure sequence. And since I can't make use of any tacticals for this run, I have to run around in circles for like 2.5 minutes to finish this step, which is a little annoying, but whatever. And we can finally acquire the water pressure gauge.
One more item crossed off the shop.
Round 11 is next, and this is the most important round, as this is when we can actually start the Easter egg, as this is when the first Mangler spawns in, which allows us to get the last part of the jet gun. That takes place down here near the comic store. The Mangler spawns in, and I clear out the remainder of the round until it's just me and the Mangler left. You have to get the Mangler to shoot this door into the electronics store. Alternatively, you could have used a mutant injection or the Mangler arm score streak, but I can't use streaks for this run as it is a pure melee run. In the store, there are 4 junk piles that will always be 2 salvage drops, 1 vermin, and the last jet gun part we need. Oh, liar. With those parts, we can finally go back to the motel and build the jet gun.
Is that a design for a weapon? Looks like you already found some of the parts.
With the jet gun, we can suck 3 parts across the map needed to build the LTG for the main quest. The first part is in the comic book store. The second part is in this building below, but we're just going to suck it up through the roof. The last part is in the church. But first, we need to do what would actually be considered the first step of the main quest, which is interacting with this machine here. This starts a sequence where Panos spawns and starts yapping to you and Blanchard, but who gives a shit about that? We're going to suck up the last part for the LTG, and that will complete all 3 parts for it. With all that, we can make our way to the main roof building and build the LTG. I also kill 1 Mangler here, as another one spawns in when you start the quest. Now that the LTG is built, we can go back to the church, where we can now pick up an Aether canister from the machine. We bring the canister to spawn and leave it near the trap. We can then start one of 2 1-minute defense sequences using the LTG at these Aether storms to spawn in high value targets needed to fill up the canisters. The challenge so far has been pretty easy. You know, the valve step was kind of annoying, but other than that, this has been pretty easy so far, but it does get harder after this step. Now, I meant to pack a punch before I did this, so I could kill the high value target easier. So I went and did that and came back and lured the high value target to the canister. The reason for leaving a Mangler up as the last zombie is so I don't get any accidental kills with the trap. It was actually kind of annoying to separate the Abomination and the Mangler, but I eventually got it done here, and with no extra kills from the trap, we filled the canister. With the canister filled, we can then bring it back up to the church and insert it into the machine. The next step is to grab the Strauss counter and calibrate 3 projectors around the map. The counter will show 1 of 3 colors, green, yellow, or red when you're near a projector. With those 3 calibrated, we can go back to spawn where we can now interact with the 3rd canister holder, while also making sure to pick up the LTG, because I like the other 10 runs I did, I always forgot it and had to go back for it. We bring this last canister to the trap by Speed Cola and start the last defense sequence in this round in the graveyard. The Elite Mangler is easier to separate than the Abomination was, but I accidentally did half its health in one hit. I'm not entirely sure why you randomly just do more damage with the melee, so if you know why that happens, let me know. But I had to end this round so I could spawn in the HVT again next round. There was no Mangler in round 12, so I decided to just get points. I didn't want to risk getting a zombie killed while trying to fill up the canister. Round 13 though did have a Mangler, so I was able to clear the full round and finally fill the last canister. This part right here had me so concerned because the Mangler spawned in and jumped right into the trap. All I could do was run to the machine and hope he respawned. Luckily, he did, and with that, the Easter egg is now completed and we can start the boss fight at any time. First, though, we need a fully upgraded knife for this. So that's what I worked on for the next 9 rounds or so, and I'll summarize each round. Round 14, I wanted to do the trial for the chance to get a purple ether tool, which upgrades your weapon to that rarity of whatever the tool is. We want this so I don't have to do unnecessary rounds to get enough salvage to fully upgrade the knife. The first challenge was to get kills at this location, which was pretty easy, and luckily in the first trial I did, I got what I wanted. You don't know how many trials I've done in previous runs where we either didn't get an Aether tool or just kept getting challenges I couldn't do with a knife. This run was looking very, very promising, and just seeing this made it even more so. Round 15 was a vermin round, so simple. Round 16 was the first Abomination round. That took some time, but we were able to easily kill it with an insta-kill on round 17, which was more of the same, getting more points than salvage that round. I also decided to do another trial to try and get more salvage quicker. Again, it was another one I could do, hip fire kills, which is just every kill with the melee. The round switched to 18 at the start of the trial because I forgot to wait for zombies to spawn in before killing the last one. But it honestly doesn't matter at this point because we just need more points and more salvage to finish this run off. I played a little carelessly here and went down. And for revenge, I sent the zombie right to another map. Because we went down, I did have to grab Melee Macchiato again, which is fine. Not a total setback, and the revive honestly doesn't matter that much because the boss fight is nearly impossible if you go down and lose Melee Macchiato in it. I also pack-a-punched while up here and finally got rid of that awful first pack-a-punch camo. We got a good amount of salvage from that trial, and I still needed a bunch of points to get tier 3 pack-a-punch anyways, so we had to pass a few more rounds. So I just decided to go ahead and get a new self-revive just in case I went down at a point where it's still salvageable in the boss fight. At the start of round 20, I fully upgraded the knife to legendary, and we only needed around 8,000 more points to upgrade our knife, but it was a vermin round, so I couldn't get enough points that round. And we had to do round 21, which actually took place a little later in the day because thanks to Treyarch's new awesome 15-minute total pause timer, I was kicked and had to restart round 21, but that's fine. It didn't change anything, and we continued round 21 until I got up to 30,000 points, which was needed to get my knife to tier 3 pack-a-punch. Before the boss fight, I made sure to get full armor and armor plates, and then I started it for what I would hope would be the final time. After so many failures, I needed to get this challenge done. After many attempts and hours put into this, I think I've perfected what I think is the best strategy for going melee only on this boss fight. You want to focus on the vermin as they spawn in, and you'll notice that I do that in this run at the start of each wave because they're so annoying to fight against. They gave zombies and vermin in this game such a ridiculous hit radius, and you'll see multiple times in this fight where I'm just not near a zombie at all, backpedaling, and I still get hit. I don't know if that's like a delayed hitbox or how that even works. I don't actually know if that's real or how that would even work, but it's just kind of annoying. And for some reason, the vermin are half the hitbox of a zombie, but they still have the full hit radius of a zombie. So you'll pretty much be trading hits with them most of the time. This then drains your most important asset for this fight, which is your armor plate and armor plate management. You don't want to be trading hits too often, as armor is super scarce in this fight, and you'll want to keep it up at all times. The first wave is the easiest of them all. It's only a horde of zombies and 3 manglers, which is easy to deal with. I don't use any armor plates in the first wave because this is the only wave where you get a full armor at the end of it, so you don't want to waste any on this first wave. Wave 2 is where most of my runs ended. Instead of 3 manglers, we now have that 1 red elite mangler from before when we were filling up the ether canisters. Starting the same way for this wave, I'm focusing on zombies and vermin until the mangler spawns in. And what I failed to do in previous runs and now focus on is that I needed to burst down the boss zombie. As soon as they're dead, you can confidently say that the wave is pretty much over. The rest of the fight is not that hard, or the rest of the wave isn't that hard, I should say. But the boss would constantly knock down zombies, making the rotation inconsistent, and you'd get trapped from the zombies who get knocked down and disrupted, making it extremely annoying, but not as annoying as the next boss in the wave 3. The third and final wave. This wave consists of 2 manglers, zombies, vermin, and the boss abomination. Similar to previous waves, I focus on vermin and zombies at the beginning rather than gathering them up. I'm also just going to let this wave entirely play out so you can see the full gameplay from wave 3. Then as the bosses spawn in, I change focus to them. The abomination soon spawned in and I was downed almost immediately right here. If you thought the mangler knocking down zombies was annoying, get ready for the abomination because it's even worse. Constantly running over zombies, delaying them, so I always have to be changing directions. You have to be in full focus for this fight. Fortunately though, the abomination is slightly faster than the zombies, giving you a chance to get some hits in.
just went in my mouth.
As it was at about a third of its health left, I made the decision to go full burst and burst it down, and I eventually killed it. With the Abomination dead, a wave of relief washed over me as I knew how close I was to completing this challenge now.
That's enough of your spooky bullshit. Nothing scarier than my right hook.
And with just a few more zombie kills,
Bloody hell. Clean up on aisle 7.
Alpha team, how copy? Somebody tell me what just happened. Any station this net, what is your status? Thanos, if you've hurt them, I swear I'll...
No interruptions for this next part. Thank you, my friends, for volunteering to take my place here. Or, in your parlance, thank you for being voluntold. Now, if you will excuse me, I have a few scores to settle. Bye-bye, Dark Ether.
hey, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what I can do to improve these type of videos, or if you like these type of videos. Follow all my other stuff. Follow here. I'll stream here more often when I start actually getting closer to unlocking Nebula. And if this gets some amount of likes, I'll try to melee this guy to death.